Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kayfabe Central podcast, and welcome to the first episode on the Kayfabe Central podcast of um, I don't even fully know what I'm going to call this yet, but our predictions for 2026, whether it be for WWE or AEW, and at the end, our local independent scene. We're going to be doing some predictions for shining some light on some independent wrestlers, but we are going to be giving our bold predictions and ones to watch for WWE and AEW. I figured because one, we haven't had Rue and Stu on the podcast in a while. I was thinking about that, especially Stu. We haven't had on the podcast in a while, so I figured we got to do something. And I'm like, it's the start of the year. Everybody's doing these type of videos. Kayfabe Central should hop on the trend as well. And if you don't know who we are, I'm your host Josh. As always, joining me is Rue on Wrestling
Hey guys.
and Stu World Order.
Hello.
So yeah, we're gonna be going through our ones to watch for WWE and AEW. Before we get into that, though, you guys know the drill. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews. Speaking of interviews, I'm going to keep plugging this. So I'm sorry if you are like watching my videos every day and you hear me plug this every single podcast. But I have two upcoming interviews. Coming up, one is being recorded on Saturday, the next is being recorded on Sunday. I'm unsure of when those are going to be released, but I assume it's going to be sometime in the next week. At least one of them will be. The two very interesting interviews. So make sure you guys are have your notifications on so you're up to date when those interviews drop, and following me on all social media so you are aware of the announcements of when those interviews are going to be dropping. All that good stuff is in the link down below. Is in the description down below, I should say. But with all that out the way quickly, let's jump straight into the podcast. Let's get into our predictions for what could be a very wild year in pro wrestling. Because I don't think we've had the excitement. I don't even know if excitement is the right word. But I guess we'll go with excitement for wrestling at the start of a year like this in a while, because we have WWE coming off a not so great 2025. We have AEW coming off a very solid 2025. But then we also have a lot of contract things, a lot of NXT call ups potentially happening this year. So there's a lot going down this year, potentially. So we're going to be breaking all that down and our ones to watch and what we think and want to happen in both companies. Um, what do you guys say we should start with? WWE? Let's start with the WWE ones. Um,
Yeah, that's the only ones I've got.
so let's start with some things that we want to see happen in the WWE. So I only wrote down like three, unless like more come to mind or whatever. One of them is something that actually a very good supporter and friend of mine over on TikTok, Phoebe, keeps bringing up to me, and I actually agree with her. Is that we need to see women main eventing more shows. I know that we have the Evolution pay-per-view. We don't know if that's going to be a continuous thing though, because it was like years before they did the second one. Um, you know, obviously if you have a match like we had on Raw, like Punk and Breakker is obviously going to be the main event, but I'd like to see the woman get more of a spotlight in that role. And it's because they deserve it. Like the woman arguably carried 2025 for WWE this past year. So I would love to see them have more main event spots. That's just one. I'll let you guys go through some of yours or one of yours.
yeah, sure. I mean, firstly, I totally agree with that. I will say, I mean, this goes for anyone, male or female, as long as the story fits the main event, I'm all for it. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, for example, right now, both women's championships, still top championships, obviously with Jade and Stephanie, I don't think either of them warrant main eventing a pay-per-view at the minute because of how it's been booked. But for instance, you take something like Bianca and Sasha at WrestleMania. All for that. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. Or the work the EO's been doing this year, Rhea. If that's go, so yeah, I'm totally all for that. When it comes to it, if you would say anything, then I'll jump in after.
Yeah, so there's two things that will easily main event anything at the moment. Uh, Naomi coming back, Bianca, them two, main event any pay-per-view for me.
Yep.
Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, when that goes south, as it inevitably will when two singles competitors become tag team partners, that's main event of pretty much any show for me. That considering how good the matches are they have together anyway. And same pretty much with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss as well. So I think you've got three stories right there that could easily pay-per-view or easily main event pretty much any pay-per-view. So stories are there. You could even when you throw Tiffy back into it, Liv Morgan back in, they are main event level wrestlers, not just women wrestlers, main event level wrestlers. So yeah, I've got no beef with more women main event in anything this year at all. They, as you rightly said, Josh, they carried most of 2025. While we were all distracted by pretty much one storyline for the whole of 2025, they really did the heavy lifting behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go through my other two, and then I'll let you guys break down what you guys have or what you guys want to see. One of the other ones that I have is also a woman's related one, but we need to put more focus and treat the women's US title a lot better this year,
Uh,
because anything will be better than what they've been doing at this point. It's the worst booked title in wrestling at this point, in my opinion. You had Julia win that title, from Chelsea Green. Um, that's the way it went, right? Yeah, Julia wins it from Chelsea
yeah, yeah.
Green in what, like a minute? Oh, sorry, no. It was Julia wins it from
No,
Chelsea Green. Then Chelsea Green beats Julia in like a minute. Um, and then Julia is gone from TV for a couple weeks, comes back, and then wins back the women's US title. We need something better than this. Your two other women that for some reason are your stones of the women's mid card on SmackDown are now injured in Michin and BFAB. So
Don't you mean the
I
main
have
event?
I have no hope. I have no hope. We need some call ups. We need some NXT call ups to happen to really liven this women's US division, because Julia is too damn good to be doing what she's doing right now. Like, I like the partnership with her and Kiana James because Kiana James is a really good mouthpiece, but man, they just don't seem they don't seem like they know what to do with Julia, rather than her just be in and out of title reigns. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'll get you guys' thoughts on that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely all for that. I mean, I think it's a testament to how good Chelsea Green is that she's still one of my female superstars of the year, being in one of the worst put divisions of the entire year. She's that good. But actually, as much as the booking is questionable, I mean, you were in my live stream when I was doing SmackDown, and we were all kind of like, eh. Why is this happening? But I want to be positive and say everything happens for a reason. Maybe it's not all the time. But I'm going to be positive with this and the fact that it is. As you've sort of alluded to, all the call-ups there. We've seen Jordan Grace appear on SmackDown. I think he'd be perfect. I fit there. I think it also needs one of two or both, or just go with two other people that could really help the division. I think they need someone like a Lyra Valkyria, a very, very solid and solidified mid card wrestler who can also jump between the main event and the mid card. I think that would do them wonders. Or they need a bona fide main eventer who can bring up the mid card and what Becky Lynch has done with the IC champion. So maybe someone like Becky Lynch after Mania, if she was to drop the IC belt. I think it needs that, but I'm all for getting the shine that it deserves because there are a lot of talented women in there. Is it Julia, Chelsea Green? It's so funny because even I'm one to kind of like joke around with like Michin and okay, BFAB's a different question, but Michin is actually very good. I do like Michin. She's just been booked horrendously, and her character has nothing to it. But yeah, I'm all for it.
I thought for a second there you were going to say BFAB was a good wrestler. I was just going to turn my phone off. I
No,
was just
she's
going to.
another
I
one.
End
obviously
of
we've lost all
podcast.
credibility. Lost all credibility on this podcast. We're done. No. So the weird thing is horribly booked, but Julia won it from Chelsea Green. I was like, I don't mind Julia being the US champion. That's fine. Chelsea Green won it from Julia, and I was like, I don't mind Chelsea Green being the US champion. That's fine. And then Julia won it back, and I was like, well, I don't mind Julia being the champion is just like, I don't know why they've done it. It seems to me, I don't know if when Chelsea Green won it back, that was an accident or a miscommunication because it was bizarre. Nobody seemed to know. It was kind of like the NXT thing, but not
Oh,
as
yeah.
ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know why they've done it. I don't get it. You've missed out Sol Ruka as well. I mean, we could have Sol Ruka and Zarya fight for the women's US title. No problem with that at all. You're absolutely right about maybe bring a main level or a main event level talent to give it the prestige like Becky Lynch. Again, Tiffy has got to come back and go for some gold somewhere along the line. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. All you've got to do is look how the US title is being booked on SmackDown with the men. That's what you can do with the mid card title. That is literally the highlight of every SmackDown at the moment, and it has been for months now since basically Sami Zayn took it. It's been the highlight of every SmackDown through Sami Zayn, through Ilya Dragunov, and now through Carmelo as well. Every match for the US title for, say, the last 4 or 5 months has been immense. So you don't have to look too far to see how to book a mid card title. So yeah, I agree. Wake up somebody because what you're doing at the moment is just killing two very, very good female superstars. There is a reason BFAB and Michin are injured, and as we all said, somebody was given the world title far too early. They were not ready,
I
and they
did
are
see this.
proving that they are not ready. When you start killing your opponents, so what's basically happened is they're so scared of her hurting anybody else. Oh, we're going to stick all our main event level talent, women wise, in tag teams to get them away from Jade Cargill. Sorry, Mitchin and BFAB.
Yeah, I think Jade Cargill will do really well in Evolve, but that's beside the point. You guys brought up
She'd kill
NXT.
someone.
You guys brought up NXT, and I'm gonna pause the point of this podcast because I got a lot of things I need to get off my chest. Because what the hell was New Year's Evil? What happened there?
Just enjoy it, bro. It's fine. It's
No,
NXT.
absolutely not. I'm not enjoying shit anymore because
I'm 45 minutes into it and I fell asleep last night and I'm having a whale of a time.
oh man. So are you okay if I spoil it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So the match quality, solid. Very solid matches on here. Obafemi, Leon Slater, good matches. Izzy Dame,
Is
Tatum
Leon's
Paxley.
chest okay, by the way? Those chops. Is his chest okay?
Well, he's
Uh,
only little as well.
Oh, it is, bro.
my biggest bone to pick is with Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, and Thea Hale. Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley put on a fantastic match.
Yep.
Tatum Paxley rightfully wins. That was the right decision. And they completely kicked themselves in the ass later in the night by having Izzy Dame win the Women's North American Championship
What?
from Thea
Joking. I knew
Hale.
that already.
So Thea Hale is backstage and she gets attacked by Blake Monroe, who is a big dum dum because she thinks that attacking Thea Hale and taking her out of the match is going to get her women's North American title back because she goes to Ava backstage after and is like, okay, Thea Hale can't compete, so give me my title. That's not how it works, you big dum dum. So Ava kicks Blake Monroe out of the building, and then Thea Hale later is like, I want my match with Blake Monroe, and Ava's like, well, that can't happen because I kicked her out of the building. And Thea's like, I'll do an open challenge. And Ava, at
That's the
first,
dum dum part.
yes,
That part.
yes. Thea Hale's also a big dum dum because um, um, Ava says no at first to the open challenge. And Jordan Grace, because Jordan Grace has more pull than the general manager of NXT, says it's her decision. She wants to do it, and Ava's like, okay, fine. Um, Thea Hale goes out. They do the thing where all the women come out from the locker room. I don't understand why you had like Nikita Lyons there or something. Anything would have been better than what happened. You could have had Callie Armstrong come out and beat Thea Hale for the Women's North American title. I would have been fine with that. Um, you know, and like Blake Monroe, her getting kicked out. I'm pretty sure she's up to the main roster at some point because we had that report. Um, but Thea Hale comes out and Izzy Dame. No, so first of all, before Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley comes out with a chainsaw. Tatum
Someone needs to take that
Paxley
offer.
is also a big dum dum because she's too busy scaring off the rest of the locker room with a chainsaw while Izzy Dame enters the ring from behind and attacks Thea Hale and wins the Women's North American Championship. So the Izzy Dame Tatum Paxley match just completely in the garbage. It doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, I figured Izzy Dame was going to get a push regardless of the outcome for her. I just didn't think it would be in the same night. Just like what, 30 minutes later? Like, oh my goodness, man. And then it didn't end there, guys. It didn't end there. Because Obafemi beats Leon Slater to retain the NXT Championship. And he leaves the title in the middle of the ring, and obviously hinting that he's going to the main roster. Why why didn't we do this the first time? Why did we have to go through him losing the NXT championship to Ricky Saints and then beating Ricky Saints for the title again just to have him relinquish it after beating a TNA guy? It makes no sense, and they clearly want Obafemi to go up to the main roster strong. I can't remember when NXT actually mattered when you went up to the main roster because they've never had it matter before. The same thing with Blake Monroe. It's like it has never mattered. Why does it matter now? It doesn't make any sense to me. And like I despised New Year's Evil with everything because they made good decisions and then kicked themselves in the ass right after. But that's my rant for NXT.
Is there a prediction?
I don't care. I don't care.
Right. Let me take the piss and then try and put logic to this. There isn't a lot of it, but let me try. Firstly, it's just NXT, bro. Deal with it. Exactly.
NXT, lol.
No, this was like such a wild episode because like you're totally right. I think because of how batshit crazy this was, I genuinely believe that this was like an on the night call to Shawn Michaels from Hunter, being like, "Hey, Shawn, I'm taking your talent." There's no other reason for like this to have been as wild as it was, other than a call to Shawn Michaels and went, "Yeah, you're going to have no one left." And he went, "Oh, okay, thanks, Hunter." And is gone with this. Look, okay, right. Stupidness aside, if we can, Izzy Dame is North American champion. Cool, I'm happy with that. Stupidness aside, happy with that. The Obafemi thing, I think it's similar to what they've done with Gunther this year, where they had Ricky Saints beat him in the hope that Ricky was going to be their next top face, and realized it didn't work. Kind of like with Jay and Gunther for a while. And then they've gone, wait, actually, Oba's really good, and we want him to be like this monster going up because it's only Asuka's the only other person I think's relinquished the title and not lost it, which again, such a big thing. The fact they couldn't actually think of anyone who they want to dethrone him, that they went, we're just going to have him relinquish it. So that is the only logic I can put this. It's a bit mental. I have a love-hate relationship with NXT because I love it because it's so stupid. And as long as you don't think of it as canon, all's good in the world.
It's it's as simple as Shawn Michaels is doing long-term storytelling, and Triple H is ruining that every chance he gets. It is literally as simple as that. It's Shawn Michaels, I'm going to do this, and this, and this. And he's like, great, crack on. Oh, no, actually, no, I'm going to take him. So, yeah, try and do something else. Oh, can I put it on? No, I'm going to take them as well. So, your top 6 stars, just make sure they're gone because they're coming with me. We're literally all leaving the building together. So, yeah, I'm excited. Excited for this because now we're going to enter a new era of NXT. Now we have to make new stars. It's as simple as that. Now we've taken all your top roster. So now it's your job to make new stars. So now we get the excitement of who the new stars are going to be. We're going to get Kendall Gray coming through. We're going to get, hopefully, well, actually, I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, so for me, it's exciting. Izzy Dane, by the way, is going to be a great Women's North American champion. I've got no problems with her having that title. It was the trade-off, wasn't it? Okay, I'll let Tatum Paxley go over because I know later on in the night I'm going to be the title. It's exactly Seth Rollins, Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Seth took the loss because later on he was going to cash in. It's just giving it. It makes sense to me because it gives everybody credibility. Izzy Dame's credible because she's now the new title or the new champion. Tatum Paxley is now credible because she's beaten the new North American champion. So we've already got people who have just shifted up a level. So basically, Josh, Happy New Year. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And
Like
I'm never happier than when I'm listening to you rant about NXT.
it's like I've apparently ranted so much my like power has gone out of my room, so my TV and like my outlets are not working anymore. But um that's another thing. The Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame stuff should have ended at New Year's Evil. That should have been the end of it. But it's not now. Now we're continuing this feud. It's just throwing a title on it. And that's the only different thing about it. And
Well, we
but
wanted the title on it, didn't we? At the very beginning, we wanted a title on it. We just wanted it to be the world title rather than, or the NXT title, sorry, rather than the North American Championship. So we kind of got what we want, just a really crap version.
yeah, very very crappy. I have no idea what happened to my powder. Not my powder, my
Your
power.
powder?
My power. My goodness. NXT's got me flustered. My power just went out of my room, but we are still recording, so we're gonna continue. Um, let's get back to the point of this video, which is the ones to watch and all that good stuff. Um, the third thing that I want to happen this year is, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it, is somebody brand new and fresh winning a world title. And I think that's ultimately probably gonna be Braun Breaker at some point. He's probably gonna be the one. I'd also like to see it in the women's division as well, somebody new and fresh. Obviously we have a lot of, call ups happening, like Jordan Grace is gonna get called up. Still don't understand why she was on NXT if she's getting called up, but again, beside the point. JC Jane potentially getting called up, a whole bunch of people, Blake Monroe. So someone brand new winning a world title, I'd appreciate seeing. Um, but yeah, what do you guys want to happen in 2026?
Shit, I have like hopefully it won't take too long. I have a decent wee list, and it starts off serious and then gets jokey slash taking shots at the IWC. Um,
Hey,
so I'll start with some of my proper ones, and then we can get into them, and hopefully it won't take too long. I guess I'll just follow on from what Josh said there about more new people. I'll lump these three in together actually, so we can make this go a bit faster. And it's about new people coming through. The first thing I said is I want to see more natural progression from the mid card to the main event. Because like back in the day, the whole thing was basically if you won the IC championship or you won the US title, you'll basically been put in line to win a world championship. It doesn't feel as much anymore. And a perfect example right now is the likes of Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. I want to see them starting moving up into the main event and potentially become world champions. So I'd love to see something like that. I mean, we might be seeing it with Braun Breaker. As we said, we've seen him win the IC belt and then moving up to the main event. I said it does happen still. I'm not saying it doesn't. I just want to see more of that. Next part of that is I want to see, and it's an early prediction that I've been saying for months now, Dominic Mysterio is Mr. Money in the Bank. I think he'll be incredible with that and eventually go on to cash it in and become a world champion. And on top of that as well, a woman that Stu mentioned is my absolute favourite of this year. I guess a spoiler. I guess I did also keep it on one to watch. I want Kendall Gray to become the NXT Women's Champion this year because she is so goddamn good. She's everything that Ronda Rousey wishes she was. She's one. She's just as true. I've literally every single time I see her on screen, whether it's backstage and more particularly in the ring, I'm just more and more impressed, and I love. She's got the cut angle, but not just from her style. It's just how fluid she is. It's just it sounds so cringy, but it's like it is beautiful to watch because it is when it hits right. As soon as I thought some of the stuff she did with JC Jane in New Year's Evil in that match was fantastic. That knee to the face, by the way, was ridiculous.
oh my God.
I'm surprised she's okay. Um, She is absolutely fantastic, and Josh knows very well. I'm not someone who watches Evolve, and Kendall Gray has become one of my favorite superstars of the year, and she's from Evolve. That's how good she is. So I guess I'll lump all them in together in that sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I after you, sir.
Sorry, I
After.
was just gonna say I do need to press pause on this podcast right now to go fix the thing downstairs so I can have power in my room because I only have 51 minutes left on my battery for my laptop. So I do need to press pause on this podcast. So I am sorry, boys. This doesn't affect anybody that's watching it. It'll just go back to when we start. So I'm going to press pause. Okay, we are back. So a little bit of an update. There is going to be a part two because I have to go downstairs to reset the power, and they are not home. So at the moment, so we are going to have to do a part two to this at some point. Whether it be tomorrow or whatever the case may be. But we are gonna finish up with things that we want to see in both WWE and AEW. And then part two will be the ones to watch. So I apologize for anybody for doing this in two parts, but unfortunately, power problems came into play. So I'll let one of you take. I think Stu, it was your go on what you want to see happen in WWE this year.
Okay, I'm going to be very, very unstew-like brief with this. So, one of the things I want to see happen, I want to see Gunther win the Royal Rumble, beat everyone all year. Do not waste it because we're already having the slight issue of him maybe just fizzling a little bit because you can't just keep going around saying, I made John Cena tap like a bitch. Give him something else to do. The AJ Styles rivalry might just ignite it again a bit. But yeah, have him win the Royal Rumble, have him win any damn contest he goes into, but keep him away from the world titles for now. That being said, number two, I want Bron Breakker to beat Seth Rollins for the world heavyweight title at WrestleMania. I think, yeah, I like the surprise face there. There is still a world in which Seth Rollins takes the world title back off of CM Punk. Because I don't care how he's coming back, what his problems with the vision are, blah blah blah. He still hates number one CM Punk. And I think it's gonna mean more Bron Breakker taking that title off of Seth Rollins than it will CM Punk. And you can never have too many CM Punk versus Seth Rollins matches for my liking. That's number two. Number three, get Finn Balor out the Judgment Day and turn Finn Balor back into what he was. As me and Rue were just discussing this while Josh was trying to break into his neighbor's house. That NXT entrance this year when he just came back for I can't remember what it's called. He came back for that one little appearance in NXT
Yeah.
and he did his old entrance and everything. It just made me remember what Finn Balor was, and he's kind of a shell of that now. His in-ring performance is still amazing; it always is. The interview that we were discussing earlier on, that he did with Cody Rhodes, you can tell what he wants to be. He the mishandling of the demon persona and such like. Just give Finn Balor 6 months to be the Finn Balor that he wants to be, and I guarantee you he will rise up that card fast because he's too good just to be saddled with the Judgment Day. And on the back of that, I think it is time that Judgment Day dispersed once and for all. I think we've run as far as we can with that now. Dom, Liv, they could easily be faces now. And I think they'll be very popular ones. Raquel Rodriguez needs a run with the title. I think she deserves it. I think a world title run for Raquel Rodriguez is far overdue now. So yeah, disband the Judgment Day.
To go off your point of Punk and Rollins for the world title, I think that we're just gonna get something like more simple as CM Punk versus Gunther for the world title at WrestleMania. And I can see a world if Seth is ready to go for Mania, it's just gonna be him and Braun in a singles match with which isn't like a bad thing. But I just don't see it being for the world title. I think ultimately they want to put that title back on Gunther.
No, we have to give it to Braun first. We've built him up to it. He's run so well with it. He's been so good. He has hung with CM Punk in promos in the matches, apart from trying to fall on his own head. Apart from that unfortunate trying to break his own neck business. I think he's hung with Punk and proved he is main event ready. He's top of the card ready now. So I just think we can't have all this bluster with the vision and not have a title on him. To me, that doesn't make sense. I understand what you're saying completely, and that is the absolute simplest way to go about it, what you said. I just think it's a shame if we go through 2026 and he's not a world champion at some point.
I actually totally agree, and kind of on that, in any other universe, I would say Gunther to win everything all the time. Please give him all the world championships because he's my damn goat. Um, the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber coming up are two of the times I'll say that I don't think Gunther should win them, nor should he be anywhere near them.
Okay,
Unless
that
he is
makes
going
sense.
to, unless he is going to win them. That's the only exception. The issue is in kind of what you said. I think there's so many other people in that world title picture that we need to see with it. If Gunther wins the Royal Rumble and goes after the world title, we are really booked into a corner because that man shouldn't be losing a single match for the next 2 years. Um,
I
so,
completely agree.
so for me personally, I keep Gunther as far away from the world title, and I will actually agree with both points because to Josh's point, I could also totally just see them putting it back on Gunther because they don't know what else to do. But for me personally, I think that's actually the wrong way to go about it.
I
I
agree.
think
I
we
agree. He shouldn't be a world champion.
keep him as
He
far
doesn't.
away from it as possible.
He doesn't need to be world champion to be the big bad.
Yeah,
And eventually, you're going to have the most over babyface become world champion. And then when Gunther goes for him, it's going to be so much worse. It's going to be so more healy. Just leave him out of the title picture for a while. And then when you've got that really popular, really over babyface gets the world title, when all of a sudden Gunther beelines for him, it's going to be this horrible impending sense of dread. And that's what you want from your big bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
Brew, did you go through what you wanted to see?
Kind of like I
Oh
think
yeah,
I
you
was
said you
just
had more
obviously
silly ones or whatever.
I had a couple of silly ones. I mean, I was also just kind of on the second part of it. I totally agree with everything else Stu said as well, but like the Judgment Day Finn Balor, I'm all for that as well.
Yeah.
Another one for me, I said, this is my I'll go next two ones I'll do are non-silly, and then I'll go for my silly ones. So firstly, I said that I want to just see the tag team divisions on just all sides just be allowed to be tag team divisions and flourish. Because look how good they are when they get in the ring. Look at that! Look at that Usos versus AJ Lee. Oh, AJ Lee, Sales and Dragon Lee match. So good. Um, just let them do that. I want to see more of that, and let's just get the belts off of the White Six because that's the SmackDown Tag Division has
Oh.
completely, completely vanished since that happened. And another one I said for me is kind of like a personal one because, like Josh, yourself still as well know, I've absolutely fallen in love with Triple A this year. It's been my favorite thing. So I'd love to see more integration along with the main roster. I know we see that on NXT. I'd love to see a bit more of a spotlight on it because it's absolutely fantastic. The likes of Laredo Kid. I love to see Pagano, Psycho Clown. La Parker is my absolute boy. Get him on there. Even though he gets booed to heck, Vikingo is amazing. Dr. Wagner Jr. I absolutely love it all. There's generally, like, I don't know why, like, Triple A is everything that I wish NXT could be. It's got the perfect mix of amazing wrestling with amazing storytelling with the right amount of just sheer stupidity chucked in there, and it's perfect.
I think
I
somebody like
can't
a
agree more.
I think somebody like a Jack Cartwheel could be signed to WWE at some point as
Yep.
well. He is just an amazing talent. So I can definitely see them picking him up and putting him in NXT. So yeah, I wouldn't mind to see more integration of the AAA talent. Um, yeah. Did you want to go through some other ones that you potentially had, or is that it?
Uh, I have two stupid ones here. The first one I have is, and they're both aimed at the IWC. The first one is people need to stop getting mad at Triple H for promoting a show. Oh my God, the promoter promoted a show. Yes, it's annoying, but he's not exactly going to Twitter and say, "Hey guys, tune in for this really mediocre SmackDown. It will be shit." Just saying, stop getting so mad at it. It's a promoter promoting the show. Welcome to wrestling. The next one
Can
I
I
put
add to this,
on,
by the way?
yeah,
Can
go
I
for it,
just,
go for it.
before you crack on, can I add to this? The number one rule, Josh, you'll back me up on this one. The number one rule of wrestling is promote your shows. Literally, you're told from the very first day of training, you're on a show, if you're involved in a show, promote the show. So, Triple H, you bastard, doing what everybody in wrestling is supposed to do.
I just find it so funny. Josh sees it particularly. The amount of folk I get in my chat, they're all so mad at like, oh, it's such a mediocre show. I'm like, well, he's not going to go on Twitter and say it's going to be shit, is he? Like,
Wouldn't even bother, guys. Wouldn't even bother.
I just don't bother coming to see it. The next one I've put is a lot of the IWC need to realize the difference between having opinion in quotation marks and being objectively wrong slash stupid. And that's it.
Yeah. Before we get into our AEW ones quickly, I have very well experienced that in the past couple days with the IWC, because a lot of people like to take what I say out of context and make it seem like I'm bashing somebody when, earlier this week on the Raw post show, I clipped me talking about Kairi Sane getting a little bit more sloppy in the ring, and she hasn't been, performing as well as she very well could. And I had a bunch of Kairi Sane fan pages and Asuka fan pages be like, "Oh, who the hell is this guy? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He only has like 20 followers." I the
They have no
I
opinion.
I will never take analyst advice from fan accounts because, man, some of these people, man, they don't know thing except devoting their life to supporting a wrestler that doesn't really care about their existence. So it, I'm never gonna take analyst advice from a fan account. Like I will say, there's a couple of people that I know that run fan accounts that aren't over their head and not logical is the nicest way I'm gonna put this. Um, but a lot of them, man, they just only support that wrestler, and it's like everything else is wrong. Any small bit of criticism about their favorite wrestler is wrong. When if you actually, and by the way, never did I say the Liv Morgan and Zoe Stark injury was Kairi Sane's fault completely. I said that some things just aren't a coincidence because we see how sloppy she's getting in the ring. So maybe some that had something to do with it, right? I never deliberately said that Kairi Sane was at fault for injuring both Zoe Stark and Liv Morgan because yes, I know shit happens, but man, come on, guys, come on,
Does
let's
that
be.
mean you're going to cancel your NXT fan account now then?
Oh no, that's it. That's over for me. Okay, we have an update on the electricity situation. I have to press pause again, but I can turn the electricity back on, and we will be up and
Whoa.
running and finish this podcast today. So I will be
Hooray!
back once again. All right, we are back. There's not going to be a part two, everybody. I apologize for that. So if you clicked off the video when I said there's going to be a part two and you don't see a part two, I would just expect you to put two and two together that we sorted out the situation. But if you are still here with us, despite all the electricity problems, I appreciate you. But we are going to continue on. I keep forgetting where we're at.
You're just gonna have to title this podcast like 2026 is like off to a great start.
It's okay. We were talking about NXT, and not even my electricity can handle it. Like, oh man, I've produced too much electricity to show you NXT that I can't do it anymore. I can't even listen to you talk about it anymore. But so, um, that's that. Let's get into some AEW things we want to happen, and now I'm dying. It's what a great year. So one of the things that I wrote down for things that I want to happen in AEW is them to sort out this title situation and all the damn titles that they have because God, they have too many damn championships. It's way too much. Like they don't have the unified title anymore, obviously because the Continental title, International title are split up. But why do you need four mid card titles? Why? What's the? I get that you have a very deep roster, but not everybody needs a championship. Like Ricochet is the national champion right now. The only person he's defended it against, unless he's defended against somebody else on Collision or something, is Dalton Castle. And then other than that, he's lost. He's lost to Jack Perry already in a non-title match. So it's like, man, do they really know what they want to do with all these titles? Probably not. Tony Khan just seems to like titles, as Stu is giving us a very pleasant view right now.
Sorry.
Uh,
So we've spent so much time talking about your electricity dying. I didn't realize my phone's dying, so I'm going closer to the charging port. Sorry about the crutch shot there. Well, maybe I'm not sorry about the crutch shot there. It depends what sort of fans of the Stew World Order you are, guys. Either you're welcome or I'm very apologetic. I'm
um,
in. I'm good.
You know, December to dismember. This is what this is in a podcast form. That's exactly what this is.
oh my God. Yeah, it's been a mess. But not as messy as New Year's Evil this week. But that's beside the
Phew.
point. Um, another thing that I want to happen is I want Mercedes Moné to get a new gimmick. She's probably not going to, but something needs to change. Because she's a phenomenal wrestler. I can't stand the CEO gimmick. I don't like the song. I don't like anything about it. She did the whole New Day thing on Dynamite this yesterday, where she came out in like the morning gear. This it was only just white instead of like black gear that the New Day had, but pretty much the same stuff. And like she needs to get something more. If we get out of this a more focused and a more dangerous Mercedes Moné, I think I'd be down for that. I think if she drops the CEO gimmick and says F everybody, everybody's gonna die, and I'm winning that AEW Women's World Title this year, I'm all for it. If she stops dancing, stops doing all that stuff, gets a little bit more darker, I think that'd be a very good step in the right direction for Mercedes Moné. Um, And then another one I just want to throw in here, and then I'll get you guys to jump in, because it's a very light one. But I want some fresh commentary teams because a problem that I had with Dynamite last night was the commentary team, which was Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Jim Ross.
Oh,
Not a good, not a
oh.
good commentary team. And Jim Ross, for anybody
How
that
many
didn't
heart
watch,
pills between those guys?
for anybody that didn't watch the Dynamite post show last night, I was very open in saying Jim Ross, legendary career, legendary commentator, not in 2026. You can't keep having this man on commentary. And not only I thought, he was gonna be on commentary for maybe like the first hour or the last hour. He was on commentary for the full 2 hours and 15 minutes that Dynamite went on. And he was making jokes on commentary, and only one of them got laughed at. The other times, Excalibur and Tony Schiavone just were quiet. They had no response to anything JR had to say because man, like it's not good. And Tony Schiavone doesn't catch a break either. I don't think he's that good of a commentator as well. Excalibur really held down the fort last night for Dynamite, and it just yeah, man, we need some fresh commentary team. So those are the three things that I came up with for AEW.
Okay, okay. Yeah. First one, I absolutely, you know me. I agree, Josh. We spoke about it at length. I don't know where the mid card starts and where it ends with AEW. Who is the mid card? Who's the top of the mid card? I don't know. They don't know either. There's four belts. I agree. Yeah, I need to sort out the belts. There's far too many. All for the Mercedes Moné thing, by the way. Because I actually really enjoyed that backstage segment between her and Willow Nightingale. I thought that was absolutely amazing. One of the best things I've heard her do pretty much since she came to the company. So I'm all for that. Yeah, commentary. Yeah. I mean, was JR making any jokes about Devon by any chance? Just saying. Oh,
He did
um,
not. He did not.
uh, I watched Devon's interview earlier with Maven about it. Jesus Christ, by the way. Yeah, look, we spoke about it, and you know my feelings towards Tony Schiavone as well. Yeah, I all for them going forward in 2026 for AEW to just kind of help it keep building and improving.
Um, So I swear to God, I saw Mox walking around with a belt. Am I right?
Yes.
What's that belt? He won a tournament and now he has a belt. What belt is that? And do you have to win the tournament to get the belt back? Who now takes the belt?
So
Is
for
it just
before anybody flames Stu in the comments, Stu doesn't catch AEW as much as Ru and I. He's just getting into it, so
bring it on?
give the guy a break. Yeah, so the Continental title, man, trying to explain this is
It's difficult,
yeah.
isn't
So the Unified Championship is the Continental title and the International title combined. However,
Yes, I knew that.
in the Continental Classic, it's only the Continental Championship that's on the line. So
Why?
when,
it? Good point.
yeah, very good point. So when somebody wins one of those titles and separates the two, the Unified Championship is no longer in play. Now it's just separate titles. So Kazuchika Okada is still the international champion, but now John Moxley, because he won the Continental Classic, is the Continental champion.
And who the hell's TNT again? I've completely forgot.
Mark Briscoe is the
Oh,
TNT
let's go.
champion.
This is the thing. They've got like titles from other companies. I don't understand. So somebody's the Ring of Honor Forever champion? The fuck is that? How can you be a forever champion if you lose? Makes no sense. It's like, oh, just take this. We don't want it anymore. Yeah, look, I'm having to do this. My arms ripped to pieces, but just to prove my point, I'm having to bring up both my arms. So yes, I agree with that one. Mercedes Moné, you know I've been a huge fan of the CEO gimmick. I've loved it. I love the dance. I love the theme tune. I love the fact she was just collecting belts like they were coming out of one of those, like, you know, the machines you put 20p in and just twist the thing and a little belt comes out. But I agree now. That's done. It's time to serious up a little bit. So yeah, I'm all for that. Now let's get a bit of a darker. Let's go back towards the old Sasha Banks. Are we allowed to say that name? But a bit more Sasha Banks with everything. Um, Commentary teams. So from what I understand from AEW, that's pretty much been the commentary team since they started. Very close to the commentary team since they started. Because I know the whole big thing was they got JR when they first started. Like Jim Ross is going to be there. It's amazing. But yeah, it's like Jerry Lawler, having him as color commentator still. It doesn't work anymore. The whole shtick is done. You can only say God so many times before it's like, okay, stop now.
He
I
doesn't
know
even say
Daniel
that
Bryan.
anymore.
He doesn't even say that.
What?
He doesn't even say "by God" anymore.
So nobody's been broken in half.
No.
Is he not even calling anybody a dastardly son of a bitch anymore?
No.
What's the point of him?
He
That's
comes
how
on, he rambles, and Excalibur has to explain all the storylines to him, and Tony Schiavone and randomly will just say a one word out of nowhere that makes no sense to what's going on, and Excalibur just sits there awkwardly going, "Why am I here and not with Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson?"
Well, this is the thing. I've seen obviously Nigel McGuinness. I think he's really good, and Bryan Danielson
hmm
now is really good. So,
hmm
but are we not going to transition away? Like WWE, for all their faults, they do experiment with commentators. Like Corey Graves at the moment is
hmm
getting a lot of time, and Joe Tessitore. So they're forever trying to change that up and finding the chemistry between people, but they're not afraid to try different things. Sadly, Booker T is still going.
He's amazing, don't
Wow.
you tell?
We love Booker over here. We
Yeah,
all love Booker, except Stu.
me.
Except Stu.
Josh seen me literally cry on live stream whilst he was singing Joe Hendry's theme song. I
You know,
was
I've
genuinely
seen that. It
crying.
was amazing.
did you guys
They
hear
did.
Booker T? I know I just trashed on New Year's Evil, but did you guys hear him on New Year's Evil when he was talking to Vic Joseph? I can't remember which match it was during. I think it was the JC Jane match. And he was calling Vic Joseph gel. I can't even mimic how he did it. Booker T is just on one every single episode. He was just hilarious.
It's like
Um,
literally Booker T's like he just talks to himself. He's like he
It's
is literally.
great.
You get that really annoying. When you go to a football match or something like that, and you get that really annoying geezer who just like
Yeah,
talks all the way through the match. It's just like that's
yeah.
what Booker T is, but he's getting paid to do it. So he's very lucky in that sense. But
he
yeah,
answers
so
his own questions a lot. He'd be like, Vic, you know why JC Jane is the NXT Women's Champion right now? It's because she's that good. She is
She's
that
a
good,
star.
Vic. She's a star. My sister's probably in the
Yeah,
probably.
man.
It's so funny listening to anything with Booker. Sorry, we've gone massively off topic, but sorry. Listening to anything with Booker T and my girlfriend has to hear, and me trying to explain that this is one of the greatest of like all time, a great Hall of Famer, and she's like, he's just a creepy old man. I'm like, yes, but he's also one of the greatest of all time.
He was dangerous. He was
He
part of
was.
Harlem Heat, for God's sake. Like, so edgy.
He was so good.
Now it's just a walking catchphrase.
But yeah, back to the AEW commentary teams. I don't know why Bryan Danielson wasn't a commentary last night. I haven't heard anything as to why he wasn't there, or maybe they just wanted Jim Ross on commentary that bad. But
Probably injured.
I assume Brian will be back next week for Maximum Carnage, and um, man, like if you have to get Nigel on Dynamite as well. I know he does Collision, but he's a better commentator than Tony Schiavone, or like play around with somebody else potentially. Like I think Don Callis can be a good commentator, but
Hmm.
he only does it when it's his guys wrestling. I think MVP is a solid commentator, but again, he only does that when his guys are wrestling. Um, Off the top of my head, I don't know. The only person I could see them going with, I think you can give an attempt to RJ City on
Yeah, yeah.
commentary. I think you can give him a chance on. I think give him a chance on commentary. Um, Renee Paquette is hit or miss on commentary.
I was gonna say that.
She can be good. She's a very good ringside analyst. I'm
Mhm.
loving the stuff she's doing ringside. Like when the wrestlers are making their entrance and she's there ringside giving analyst information. I really like that. Um, and like maybe she'll be better on commentary in AEW than she was in WWE. We don't know. Like I'm all for experimenting. But I think we do need to replace Tony Schiavone and get Jim Ross off commentary.
I think
But
they've
yeah,
just let someone go. They've let someone go who would have been a very good commentator, and his name is Jericho.
Oh.
I
I honestly
hated
think
Chris
he'd do the
Jericho
job.
on commentary. I
No.
could not stand Chris Jericho on commentary. He was
Yeah,
good
you hate
for
NXT, so who listened to you?
he he was good for one episode and they overdid it.
Was this
Now
when it was
I
like
as a matter of
Learning
fact,
Tree?
you could ask Gru, I put Chris Jericho on my end of the year awards for worst commentator of 2025
You did, yes.
because he's just I don't think he's good.
I'm really excited to have him in WWE.
Uh
I know.
I'm not.
No, no.
I could care less to be honest. Um What else do we got?
Oh,
Yeah, you guys go for it. What you want to see in AEW?
sure. To be truly honest, I'm thinking of these on the spot, but I think I've got some all right ones. Most of them are just who I want to see um go up and progress and win titles. And then one kind of storyline one, I suppose, because of how good it was. The first one I want to see Takeshita defeat Okada for the international championship. Whatever one. And not have a goddamn screwdriver involved and actually have a good I will just say it. I don't think the match was good at all. I don't care. It wasn't good it was Ed. Maybe it's just the expectation that I had. I thought it was going to be. I was one of my dream matches, and it really disappointed me. So I want that. I want to see Takeshita, and more to this than just that. I want to see Takeshita, um, get a big push in 2026. He's obviously just recently lost the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I want to see him do some amazing things in AEW because he's just absolutely fantastic. Same goes for my breakout. Well, what my breakout superstar of the year, even though we turned out he didn't even sign this year, but saw it in Mascara Dorado, who I just discovered until Josh is he didn't know that Mascara Dorado is the former Grand Metalik from WWE. Didn't know this. It blew my mind as well. The guy's amazing. So I want to see some more stuff from him because he blew me away this year. Absolutely fantastic. And as much as I love them as a tag team, I want to see almost swap, not swap, but like I want to see a double singles push for these two women. One of them's already getting it. It's Willow Nightingale and Holly Cameron because I think they're both absolutely amazing. So I'd like to see a massive, massive year for them. and obviously Willow's already had this massive win over Mercedes and is now the TBS champion. But the other one for me, which is more storyline involved, especially after World's End and seeing the reaction he was getting, particularly during the Fletcher match, but especially in the Okada match as well. I want to see the Death Riders turn on John Moxley and we get a John Moxley face run because oh my god, that guy was the biggest baby face in that building that night. It genuinely was in that match against Fletcher, and he was amazing, and it made me remember just why he's my favorite wrestler. I absolutely adored it. So yeah, I want to see it. Plus, for other implications for the likes of Pac and Claudio, get to go on and have some cool storylines in there as well. But I want to see a John Moxley babyface run in 2026.
Yeah, Stu, anything to
Me?
add?
Oh,
Yeah.
so first of all, yeah, Moxley babyface is about time. Death Riders have kind of gone as far as they can go now, so I think that's the absolute logical thing to do. And then we've got like a Death Riders 2.0 with a new leader, and Moxley can just imagine Moxley just spoiling everything they're trying to do. Is just that's gold for 6 months, just being a royal pain in their ass. I think Willow and Harley Cameron, it's too early for them to go off in their separate ways. They've obviously only just got their title. And also, you kind of have to decide what one of them is the dick.
Oh, it's
And
gonna be
neither
hard.
of them, do you reckon? Because, like,
No, but
obviously,
I don't want either. I don't want either of them. That's the issue.
that's fair enough then. If they're just going to kind of shake hands and go their separate ways, that's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. I do have some AEW wishes for a non-AEW fan, not a non-AEW fan, that's unfair to say, for a new AEW fan who's still
Yeah.
learning AEW. One is just fantasy. But first of all, I want Fletcher versus MJF because just gold. Promo, match, everything, gold. And that can go for months as well. You can build that up for so long between them two. It's time Tony Storm got serious. Get back to the not Blake Monroe, whatever her name was before that. I want that level. I want that level of Tony Storm back. The dancing with Orange Cassidy doesn't interest me at all. To be
Josh
fair,
is like inside right now. He's like, yes.
I complained about that on the post show last night as well.
Okay. I'm a big Tony Storm fan, but I think again we're going into parody territory now, where she's turning into a cartoon character of Tony Storm, and we just need to get that edge back to her because she's edgy, but all of a sudden she's kind of turned into PG Tony Storm. It's like she's turned into what Tony Storm would be if she went to WWE, and we don't need that in AEW. So get away from that. And fantasy, I'm going to say every year until it happens, WWE Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
Just
unfortunately,
because.
that one's not going to happen.
I know.
How dare you tread on my dreams
Fantasy.
this early in the year?
No, but here's the thing. Remember, if it was to happen, it wouldn't be WWE. It'd be NXT because NXT is above AEW.
We're going to get like
And they would lose
Thea Hale
billions.
versus Jamie Hayter.
That is the match that they would do, isn't it?
Yeah.
MJF versus Rishi Saints. Brilliant.
I will say I'm in agreement with I'm not a fan of what Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa are doing with Orange Cassidy. I think her match with me Marina Shafir last night was not good, and that's saying something because Marina Shafir is a good wrestler and Tony Storm is a good wrestler as well when she wants to be. But man, that ending was terrible. I went on a whole rant about the ref situation. I clipped that. I put it on TikTok and everything because the ref gets pulled out of the ring and calls off the match when, that happens so many other times, but the ref doesn't call off the match. But last night on Dynamite and like I'll eventually stir back to the ones to watch and all that stuff. There were some segments and matches, particularly two, that felt very WWE. One of them was the ending to Tony Storm and Marina Shafir, was a very WWE ending and a very WWE match. and the other one was the Willow Nightingale celebration with Mercedes going face first into the cake. I don't like it when WWE does that stuff. I don't like when AEW does that stuff, but I especially don't like when AEW does very WWE things like the cash in stuff. I'm glad they didn't do that with MJF because that's a WWE thing. I hated it when they did it with Christian Cage. Um, and it was just, it just wasn't good. And I hate saying anything remotely bad about like Willow and Harley and those girls and Chris Statlander, but that segment just wasn't good. But I'm in agreement with Tony Storm, getting a little bit more serious because, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of the timeless gimmick to begin with. So I'd appreciate like something a little bit different. Same thing as I said with like Mercedes Moné, just a little bit switch in the character. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, sorry. No,
no,
sorry
go for
about
it.
it. I was just going to say I totally agree. I'm all for seeing that bit of a switch up. Like I enjoy the Tony Storm. I did enjoy the Tony Storm stuff. I still do, but I think, as you said, we've had it for so long now. I mean, we've even spoken about it. I think Josh, part of me even just misses like old school Tony Storm, like when she just does the absolute badass. From that came in. I'm all for seeing that 100%. I know just on that as well, as you said, like Fletcher, in MJF. I think that'd be very, very cool as well. So I am absolutely all for what Stu said. I also forgot to add one more into mine. I want Andrade to get fired and come back to WWE.
Oh my gosh, man.
See if we can get three switches out of him this year.
Insane.
All for it.
Um, Let's get into the ones to watch, though. Let's start off with the WWE side of things. We'll separate the men and the women. So we'll go for the men first and see. I'll list a couple that I have down for my one to watch. A couple of them are fairly obvious. Well, most of them are. Because one of them I have is Obafemi. He's going to be on the main roster this year, no doubt. And I'd like to see him win a championship on the main roster. Hopefully, a world championship. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. It should. But I'd be more than happy to see him, come to the main roster and win a championship, win the U.S. title, and according to Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp, the reason that Obafemi vacated the title in the way he did is because they don't want Obafemi losing going into what they have planned for him on the main roster. So that makes me very cautious as Obafemi might be winning that United States Championship from Carmelo Hayes pretty soon, which is
Aw.
unfortunate because Carmelo just won it. Unless they have something different planned and he beats like Dom for
I've
the IC
I,
title.
I've got a different plan that's in my TikTok from earlier.
Ooh, ooh. Um, I don't know. That's just what I've been hearing floating around. It could be completely wrong, and he just feuds with The Miz as his first feud on the main roster.
I would
That's
love to
how
see
you
them.
enter WWE.
It is.
Uh,
I would love to see the Miz trying to imitate Obafemi, and surely he won't get cancelled for that.
I got Trick Williams down. He's coming up to the main roster on SmackDown as well. So I'd like to see Trick get some stuff done, whether it be a feud with Melo, whether it be a tag team with Melo, even I wouldn't mind that. I'd like to see him get some stuff done on here. So Trick Williams definitely one to watch. Speaking of Carmelo Hayes, I have him down on this list as well. I think he's gonna be a pretty big player in the division, specifically the mid card division. But I would like to see, after he drops that U.S. title, he still gets, some shine and some feuds or whatever. Like you have Trick Williams right there, run that feud. And that's a great first feud for Trick Williams and a great feud for Carmelo Hayes, and everybody wins in that scenario, I feel. Javon Evans as well, who got signed to Monday Night Raw during a commercial break.
I didn't know it
Um,
happened because I watched
Actually,
Raw the
no.
next day. Neither did
It
yeah,
actually
I.
didn't happen.
yeah. So I was very confused because I was watching it and they were doing this. I'm like, this is a commercial break. Something so important like this shouldn't be on a commercial break, but that is what it is. That's WWE. So Javon Evans is definitely one to watch this year. And the last person I have on this list is Braun Breaker because It's Braun. Braun's gonna have a good year nonetheless. I think he's ultimately gonna win that world title probably at SummerSlam. They're probably gonna wait it out until then because WWE operates that way. But like, we have time because I didn't think that he was beating CM Punk on Raw this week to win the world title. I thought that he should. I didn't think it was gonna happen though. I think they're just gonna wait till SummerSlam. But those are my ones to watch for the men's division in WWE.
Uh, I'll try and think of some different ones, but you've pretty much gone through them all. I've got a couple. I've got a couple. I mean, the one that I definitely had in my mind, 'cause I thought maybe a bit different, but you did same, is Trick. Because I mean, I don't think anyone's looked like such a freaking superstar coming
Oh
onto the
my
main
God.
roster. He
One eight
looked
My
hundred whoop
God.
amazing.
that.
Exactly. He looked amazing. So I'll put Trick in there. Because obviously he looked amazing. I think everyone you said there, Carmel. Maybe try and think outside the box. Depending on if reports are to be believed. Um, if Tommaso Ciampa leaves, maybe Gargano. Maybe we actually get to see a half decent singles run for Gargano. If these reports are to be believed, Elios had a fantastic year, so hopefully they don't just let his momentum die off. I just said, Braun, obviously, Dom. Javon Evans, absolutely. See the amount of folk I've seen who are already going, welcome to the mid card, kid. Oh my God, WWE fans, stop being so pessimistic. Um, and I'll chuck an extra couple in here as well from AAA, my second favorite, actually my top favorite company. Let's be honest. Laredo Kid, absolutely incredible. We could definitely see him eventually moving on to look going towards that mega campeon at some point. And someone who I've only seen one match of, but I know Josh is very high on, and they show you how good he was in that one match is how high I am on him now, and that is Jack Cartwheel. I think just from what I've seen, he could have a fantastic year. Obviously, again, split his time across between Evolve and AAA. Uh, I think a lot of the AAA, honestly, I think so. Ethan Page, another one to give out what a year he could have as well. I'm excited for 2026. I've just said this in my live streams when everyone's been really pessimistic, and I like to try to wind them up some more. Um, with the amount of calls we were getting, I'm secretly optimistic with what we're going to get going into 2026.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with pretty much everybody you said there as well. Going back to what you said, Trick Williams, honestly, he did one thing in the ring and one backstage interview. I was like, oh my God, give him all the titles. There's your face of the company right there. He looked better than he's ever looked in NXT. And he looks pretty damn good in NXT, but for some reason, he just looked like an absolute superstar. Not a star, not a superstar as in, oh, you're a WWE superstar. He looked like a superstar. I was like, oh, who is this guy? Just everything they did with him was fantastic, and he was fantastic as well. I'm trying to think of ones that obviously aren't the obvious. So I'm going
Yeah.
to go more in hope than in expectation. So first of all, Obafemi coming up to the main roster. I'd really like to see him go the tween away. Just dominate everyone. Don't worry about being a good guy. Don't worry about being a bad guy. He kind of skirted that with his title run in NXT. Not particularly good, not particularly bad. He was just, I'm me and I'm going to destroy anybody who comes my way. Carry on with that. He doesn't need to go either way. I'm going to say Julius Creed,
Yes.
given time
Yes.
and given some exposure on his own, there's not a lot he won't be able to do. As I say, grow your hair, get a beard, but his in-ring work is incredible, and he's had enough time now to work on the character work and stuff like that. I really honestly think maybe not this year, but in the next year and a bit, he could go very, very far. And then if we're sticking with tag team, I'm going to say again till it happens, Montez Ford. Give him some time. Give him some time on his own. I mean, they disappear for months on end. I don't understand why this keeps happening with Street Profits. You come back, you do amazingly, and then you disappear for a while, and then you come back. We're going to be bad now, and then everybody's like, "No, but we like you," and it's like, "Okay, we'll be good then." Give him the split. Give Angelo Dawkins and him the split, and just let Montez go. And last but not least, this is more NXT Josh Briggs because I like him. I really,
Yes.
really like him. And again, it's one of those just give him time to do what he was. I know the NXT crowd are just mega against him. I don't understand it. The Josh Briggs hate, but they do. So and maybe he will fare better on the main roster. But yeah, I think he's a monster. He's a monster, but with
He's a
a character and with a bit.
monster.
He's a monster.
Monster.
But yeah, just with a character and with a bit about him as well. He's not just walking around, boom, boom, I would beat you all. He's actually got something about him. So give him time. And yeah, Ethan Page, let him go now. Let him go to the main roster now because he's everything already. He doesn't he could just be exactly what he is now on the main roster, and he'll be one of the biggest heels within 6 months.
I think the problem with Josh Briggs is his mic work. I don't think he's phenomenal on the microphone. He has a very generic heel promo when he comes out. Like this past week on NXT during that mess of a segment with Ethan Page and everybody else. He just had very generic things to say that he said already. He's like Jasper Troy came out and said he was the best big man in NXT, and all Josh Briggs had in response was like, "No, I'm the best big man in NXT," and had nothing to like back up for it or anything like that. Um, so I think it's his mic work that's the reason they're holding him back a little bit because you look at the past NXT champions, you look at someone like Obafemi, great on the mic, Ricky Saints, great on the mic. Like all these guys are like that were champions. Trick Williams, great on the mic, right? I think that's what's holding Josh Briggs back. Uh, with
I
the
wouldn't say Obafemi was great on the mic to begin with. I think he's massively improved this
yeah,
year. I'd say, my light's gone off. That's fine. That's fine.
He said
What's
something bad
happening?
about Will Femi. He's come to
my
get you.
goodness, electricity today is just not on our side.
I was expecting the Who to start playing in my living room then. Who or Dark State were going to pop up from the
Oh no!
back.
Oh no! Oh, can that be one of mine? Dark State get filed. Can that be one of
Oh my
mine?
Hey, I
God!
like that.
No, I take it back. Just Cutler James.
Oh man.
But
The thing with the Street Profits, I am okay with this because this is the first time in Montez Ford and Bianca's Belair's relationship that they actually get time alone and they're not traveling. So, with that being the case, I'm happy for them and I'm okay with them getting some time off because throughout their entire relationship, they've just been on the road and they finally get some time to just, relax and enjoy their life together until they come back. Um,
I
no, I
don't care
don't
about
think.
that. They're not people. They're commodities to entertain me. How dare you?
I pay my money. They'll dance for me, monkey. Not allowed to do this.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, that's we're gonna stop talking about the Street Profits now. We're just going to but yeah, I think that's reason. Yeah, I forgot what the other point you brought up was. Um, but either way, you brought up some really great points. Um,
Oh, Julius Creed was the other one.
yeah, that one I completely agree with. Fuck's sake, put Julius Creed on TV. I'm sorry, I dropped the first curse word of the podcast, but
Yeah.
damn, come on, man. Put Julius Creed on TV. They're they are too damn good to not be on TV. Um,
Agreed.
and by on TV, I don't mean during a commercial break or backstage with Ivy Nile. I mean in the damn ring wrestling. Um, but
Dude,
yeah.
brutes. Brutes they are.
In terms of women to watch this year in WWE. Now, I didn't complete this list, but I got like a few people off the top of my head. One of them being Kendall Gray, fantastic wrestler. And she's one of those people that like she's solid on the mic, but I think her wrestling is just so good, nobody cares how good she is on the mic. Like her wrestling speaks for itself. And I think she's one to watch. I'm actually glad they didn't rush Kendall Gray winning the NXT Women's Championship. I think that was a great move to have JC Jane retain at NXT New Year's
Mhm.
Evil, um, because it lets her build some more credibility for herself. Let her drop that Evolve Women's title at some point. Actually, I don't know if she even lost it because I know she defended it on Evolve, but I haven't watched Evolve yet. I think she's defending it against Callie Armstrong, if I'm not mistaken. So, if Callie wins that, Callie absolutely deserves it. Because Callie Armstrong is somebody else. You know what? I'm gonna throw Callie Armstrong on this list because Callie Armstrong is a fantastic wrestler, and I think she's gonna be up in NXT very soon as well. So Kendall, Callie, JC Jane is being talked about being brought up to the main roster as well. So I assume that she's probably going to hold that title until Stand and Deliver, right? I'd assume that she's holding that till Stand and Deliver, and then after that she gets called up and goes to Raw or SmackDown, whatever the case may be. I don't know where that leaves Fatal Influence, particularly Lainey Reed, because I think Fallon and JC are good to go up, but I don't know about Lainey Reed. Um, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Jordan Grace is somebody to keep an eye on this year. Hopefully, she has more success on the main roster than she did in NXT because she had nothing in NXT. So hopefully, they treat her a little bit better on the main roster. So there's her. Um, that's really all. Like, obviously, the obvious ones like Io Sky, Stephanie Vaquer are all ones that we should keep our eye on still. But like those are my main picks for the women's division.
Um, yeah, you pretty much went over a lot. I mean, the main one for me is Kendall Gray. Like she's the absolute main one. There's a lot in NXT. But yeah, she's I hope for big things for her. I think we said JC Jane's a great shout. She's been so good. Absolute solid shout, Jordan Grace, as you said. Another one, someone that Stu brought up earlier, and I totally agree with, is potentially Raquel Rodriguez. Um, Depending on how the storyline is with Stephanie, if that is a legit injury or not, I don't know. She could be winning.
It's not.
Isn't no, okay, I
That
have no
is a
idea.
kayfabe injury. Yeah.
But okay,
No.
but in the same way that Tiffany Stratton had a kayfabe injury and lost the belt, in the same way that Jey Uso had a kayfabe injury and lost this year, there's a potential Raquel Rodriguez wins this belt off of Stephanie Raquel. So anyway, I'd chuck Raquel and she's had a fantastic year. Well, I think Sol Rucker is definitely someone we should mention. She's got to be in there. Um, I want to say, and hopefully, if the division you've mentioned it before, Josh, gets revitalized, but also potentially going past that, Chelsea Green. I hope she has an amazing. I think she's just gone and signed a new 5-year contract, I believe, literally like
Yes.
in the last couple of days. Yep. Hopefully, a sign of big things to come for her because she more than deserves it. And yeah, again, if they actually book the division correctly, let's be optimistic, and I'll say Julia as well if they actually do it well.
I agree with all of those. I think we're all very high on Kendall Gray.
Hmm.
Um, it's amazing how one sequence changed a woman's career. She came in and did a 30-second spot in a match on NXT and just woke the world up to how good she is. But the good thing is she's backed it since and followed it since, and everything she's done has been awesome since. So definitely Kendall Gray. Sol Ruka, I will be
Yes.
very surprised if she ends 2026 without a title, or at least having one at some point, possibly the US title, possibly. Her and Becky Lynch, that is a rivalry I would love to see. Sadly, I think there's an AJ Lee in the way of that. Um, um,
I'll take Soul and AJ.
oh, absolutely, freaking
I'll
lootly. I've
take
got
that.
no grief with that. To be fair, there's not a lot of people, especially the more seasoned veterans on the main roster, who I wouldn't like to see Soul go against. I mean, Soul Charlotte Flair, Soul Alexa Bliss. So that's the levels I see Soul Ruka at already, and I don't think she's going to have any problems hanging in those levels either. She has got a Zarya anchor around her though, because what you do with one, you have to think about what happens with the other one. So that's a slight issue that they need to think around. The Jada Parker, it's about time. You know, I'm a big Jada Parker fan. It's about time she was elevated to the absolute tippy top of NXT, and then see where we go from there. I don't think there's any reason to hold her back anymore. She's got everything. I don't get what the issue is with her at the moment and why we're not pulling the trigger on her exactly. Um,
So with sorry, I
but
didn't mean to interrupt you, Stu. So with
okay.
Jada, I was very confused too until I was watching a post show from Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp did confirm that she is currently injured. So that
Ah,
is why she's not been on TV.
Right, that makes sense then. But hopefully she'll come back for 2026 and kick some ass.
Yeah.
Um, out of the box thinking, let's all watch out for Natty Neidhart this year.
Like that.
If they go with that, if we get rid of the Natalia part and have her be that serious wrestler that she is on the what's the other promotion called? I want
Uh,
to say blood sport or something like that. I don't know
oh,
what it's called.
GCW.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that character. I think if she goes for that, then you're going to see her get a lot of TV time because that is over, and she's really good when she's doing that as well. But yeah, I think we already know pretty much the women to watch out for in 2026. I think it's been quite established who the next stars are in the WWE, and it's mouth-watering. You think of the people coming up from NXT, you think about the people coming up from the mid card, and already these top women who were there, like Rhea, like Bianca, she's going to come back, Io Sky, Asuka. I accused her of when she lost the Queen of the Ring of disappearing into irrelevancy. I couldn't be more wrong. They've put her as part of the Kabuki Warriors, and she's been awesome. Like I really been surprised at how entertaining she's been. Bearing in mind she used to be a killer, but she's now kind of got this manic side to her that I really, really like, and they really sort of dug into that. So yeah, I think the women's division in the WWE is frighteningly good now. And it goes into back into what you were saying earlier on, Josh, that there's no issues with women main events for PLEs now because there is a lot of talent. Like I'd say it's more stacked than the men as far as very good wrestlers go, very good characters go. There's so many different combinations of people you can have now. Frighteningly good.
They have the resources. They have like going all the way down to Evolve. They have very talented, not just women, men's wrestlers as well, that can definitely make a change this year. Like I brought up Callie Armstrong in Evolve. Like there's some other people in Evolve as well that could come up to NXT and make a difference, and people in NXT that can go up. Um, I at this point think Tony D'Angelo is an NXT lifer. I don't know if he's ever gonna get called up to the main roster.
Oh,
Um,
Tony D.
yeah, that I don't even think they know what they want to do with Tony D, but that's a conversation for another day.
Can I
Yeah,
ask you guys a question before we go on?
yeah.
Do we think that the more we talk about it, the more we talk about the young up and coming talent, do we think 2026 is actually going to be a very transitional year? Because for 2024 and 2025, we've very much held on to those guys who are now in their mid to late 40s. Obviously, 2025, a lot of that was about John Cena, and that took up a lot of the year. And we do have this aging upper card. The top of the card is a very all of a certain age, and now we've got these great young talents coming through. Is this the year that we're going to see it tip slightly in favor of the, if they've got the balls to do it? There are plenty of people now you can hand the ball to run with, and plenty of people who have got enough about them to run with that ball as well. And I think this could actually be a very pivotal year in informing the next 5 to 10 years of the WWE. This year, there's that big transition now from all these call ups and all these aging stars sort of making their way out of the company. I think it could be a big year.
I
Yeah, you
mean,
want to take this one?
yeah, sure. No, I totally think it will be. I think it's all the signs point in the right direction. I mean, I was going to say maybe it's a bit of a hot take, but you kind of said it there yourself, Stu. I think one of the worst things that happened in 2025 was John Cena's retirement run. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about how they booked it. I'm talking about the impact it had on the rest of the company. And this isn't a fault in anyone because like John Cena deserves that retirement run. I think it just put a lot of just stoppage on storylines had going forward, especially when you have to deal with the big bald fraud that is The Rock and Travis Scott, which made it even more of an issue.
God's
And
sake.
I know, and it's one of these ones. I was actually going to do a video on this, where I say, "Hot take, I'm glad this retirement tour is now over, so we can get
Yeah.
back to normal programming." Because I think
That
it made it,
literally, I
yeah,
yeah. It's
like
not
it
a hot
makes
take. It makes a lot of sense because the whole 2025 in the WWE was so John Cena centric that it put, as you said, put a pause on everything else. Like it even put a pause on the IC title for a bit. We gave it to John for a little bit, and then we had to transition it back to Dom. Same with the world title. We had to break up Cody's run for a little bit and have John go through his roster of people he wanted to fight with the title and then give it back to Cody again. It did take up a lot and was talked about a lot. And it was every show he was on, the most of the show was about that. So it was kind of a pause of a year. Let's just let John do his thing. So yeah, I'm with you. I miss him, but I'm glad it's done.
yeah.
It's also up to the other bald fraud, Triple H, if he wants to put his big boy pants on this year and, not let TKO step on his feet and run the show he wants to, which I'm starting to see a little bit more Triple H coming out in these shows. Like the three stages of hell stipulations, that's a very Triple H call. He did that with Gargano and Cole,
Mhm.
very similar route in NXT. Carmelo Hayes, he's very big on Carmelo Hayes and like Ilya Dragunov and these guys. Um, I think it's the world titles that he's letting TKO step on his feet a little bit. Like I can't really tell if Gunther was a TKO call or a Triple H call or anything like that. Or if like Punk was a TKO or Triple H call. I can imagine Punk being a TKO call. But um. I want Triple H to step it up this year because he can be a good booker when he wants to be. He's just been a bald fraud in 2025. And it's like man, some of the decisions he's made. But again, like you guys said, it's maybe because 2025 was just so John Cena focused that maybe we'll actually step it up this year. Um, I don't think having SmackDown 3 hours is a good start at all, but maybe they could surprise me. Maybe they'll surprise me, with Trick Williams coming up, with Jordan Grace potentially coming up, and other people coming up. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe SmackDown will be really good. Um, I my hopes are still very low in terms of the product, especially when it comes to SmackDown and like NXT and all that. I have very low hope because of I'm not gonna say 2025 was tragic for the WWE, but it wasn't a good year at all for them, in my opinion. And I think, you know, they really need to step it up and put gears into motion in 2026.
I think is like with that is like it's just what we know what they can do, and that's where the frustration comes into, and that's why on the kind of flip side, I get very frustrated, and I'll keep arguing with folk, not arguing, but telling folk off, like when I do live streams or whatever about it. The fact that 2025 on the, as you said, on the whole, actually, I don't think was like it wasn't like a great year, but it wasn't like bad. People are going on, but this is people who have only started watching since Triple H took over. And is was 2025 probably the worst year since Triple H took over? Yes, I think it definitely was. But
Yeah.
like you try to compare this to like late 2010s Vince Era or early 20 or just the 2010s to be truly honest with you. Anything like that. It's like it's just it's so funny. Folk are just so easy and happy to jump on it. But I also stand by like I think Triple H is actually a good booker. I say anything he's done in NXT. Is that I think he struggles with the size of the roster that he now has and trying to book the two shows and it being all over the place. Like we know sometimes he's not even at SmackDown, which I think is a bit of an issue. Um, and that's where he's struggling. So I think so. It's obviously hard because like I don't we none of us know what goes on behind the scenes. But I would like there to be a bit more, as you said, Josh, a bit more of a sort of fun, kind of foot down decision on things. Like you said, I feel like Gunther's a Triple H thing. I think he must be high on Gunther. He's like the most Triple H like guy I've. Well, he's got two guys. Triple H. He's got the Johnny Gargano guys and the Adam Coles, and then he has like the Gunthers. I think on either side. So I feel like that's a Triple H thing. So hopefully we see like good things from going forward. But yeah, I mean I agree. Just whether or not he's actually able to do that or not, given the position.
I think what they should do, and I highly doubt they will go down this route, but for SmackDown specifically, have people like Seth or Cody or maybe like even Roman help book those shows because the talent will know best. Like,
Yeah. Didn't they think
I
that in
think that
WCW
would
though?
help SmackDown a lot because obviously the talent themselves know what the fans want. And I think it would help, SmackDown be a little bit better with the 3 hour stuff.
I don't see any problem with that, as long as they don't say that doesn't work for me, brother,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
book themselves to win the title every week. I certainly don't see a problem. But just have the two shows stand alone. Like have your separate writing teams. Just really leave them to themselves, if you know what I mean, rather than trying to umbrella it all. And you could have one show that is your expected guys, you're like your heavy hitters, and they're the ones who run that show. And then you could have SmackDown where your young up and comers are, where they make the name for themselves, where maybe an unlikely person is holding a world title and they prove themselves in that way. I don't know, but I don't think you need Triple H at everything. As long as you've got trusted writers, good bookers, good match producers, it doesn't need to all have Triple H like Vince McMahoning over it all. And I think you'll get better storytelling for it because you'll have people able to concentrate on the stories rather than concentrating on 15 stories.
Um, I had a section here for tag teams, but I struggled to think of ones to watch for tag teams this year because like there's not many. Like off the top of my head, I'll say like Fraxium if they want to do something with Fraxium this year properly. Like I know they had the whole like they were part of the SmackDown tag, chaos, but like since then they haven't really done much. Um DIY is going to be split up at some point because one of them is leaving. And Los Garza's disappeared. Santos Escobar also is re-signed with the company, but has not shown up since re-signing. It's very weird that I think they need to deepen their tag division. Like I'm trying to think on NXT as well. There's not that much depth in any tag division. Like
Anchor tag.
there's obviously the obvious ones of like the Usos being the new tag champs. Um, I don't think Judgment Day is going to be involved in any more tag title feuds. I think they're done. Um, yeah, there's not many tag teams that I can really point out and pinpoint like okay these guys are going to be next. Like I don't like what Hank and Tank is doing, whatever they're doing. Um, you know what? I'll throw a faction out there, and it's a faction I'm really enjoying, and that's the Vanity Project. I think those guys are guys to keep an eye on, because they are just fantastic. I didn't like the segment that they had with Lola Vice on Tuesday or whatever that was. But like it fits them. Like it fits them. They're just like jackasses. And I like that. I like the piece of shit character. So um, I think Vanity Project is who I'm going to go with here to keep an eye on.
Tag teams, yeah, difficult. Can I just say
Yeah,
initials? Leave it at
yeah,
that. You know what? I'll go out there. I'll throw a tag team that's not even a tag team yet. The Lucha Bros. There you go. Lucha Bros and Usos.
yeah.
Let's do
Okay.
that. Lucha Bros, Usos, and New Day for triple threat for the tag team titles at Mania. Let's do it.
I'm down
Would
for
we
that.
not put the, would we not put the Hardys with the Usos and the New Day
Oh yeah,
just to
Hardys.
see, just to see that match? I mean, obviously, there's
Yeah.
two teams that will be doing most of the heavy lifting in that. I
As long as
can't.
Jeff can jump off.
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna say the Creed brothers.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
They're it. They are the future of tag team wrestling in WWE. And I don't know who they're gonna fight against though. That's the only problem. I honestly have no idea who they're gonna go against because everybody else is aging. The Usos are only together so they can split up again. We need to keep that in mind. They're only together so they can split up again. They can't do this whole thing with Jay losing his mind and he'll go, "Oh no, he's all right now. He's fine."
oh, but they can.
I mean, well, they can, and they probably have, but I'm trying to hold some hope. But yeah. So yeah, Creed brothers for me, and Ivy Nile was one I forgot to mention as well, as far as women to keep an eye on. She's very good.
Yeah.
She just needs again, like everybody, just needs time just to be herself. But I really like Ivy Nile.
Let's move over to the AEW ones to watch. So I have quite a few listed down for the woman, so we'll start with that. I have like the obvious ones of like Megan Bayne written down, and Tekla and Mercedes Moné, I think are three women to watch. I see Tekla winning a title this year, but I think Megan Bayne's gonna win that AEW Women's title at some point this year first. So definitely her to want to watch, but Tekla is definitely going to have some gold this year. And Mercedes is, I think Mercedes also is going to win the AEW Women's World title at some point this year. It's almost inevitable that she's going to win that title. Um, I think this is the year we see Jamie Hayter turn heel. I think that's gonna end up happening. It just makes the most sense, and we'll get a fresher Jamie Hayter. Um, I'm gonna be interested to see what they do with Lena Cross, because she hasn't been featured at all really on anything, whether it be Ring of Honor or AEW or anything. And I like Lena Cross, so I'd like to see her featured on at least Ring of Honor. Um, this one is more of like a 2027 one, I guess, but I have Bailey written down because I think Bailey is leaving when her contract is up this year, and I think she's going over to AEW. Whether if that's like Pam or Pamela or whatever she goes by in AEW, and I think she's
Oh,
winning. I think she's potentially winning tag team gold with Mercedes Moné in AEW. Mercedes wants that to happen, and like I can't see Bailey being happy with what she's doing in WWE. Or maybe she is, maybe she does end up staying, but I don't think there's anything for her. I think she'll have, fun with Mercedes, her best friend in AEW. They'll do that. Um, this one's a tag team technically, but I have the Timeless Love Bombs. I think they're winning tag gold this year. I think the titles will probably go to the Sisters of Sin, and then the Timeless Love Bombs hold that, and they hold it for quite some time. They'll probably be like the longest reigning champs this year for the tag titles. And then I wrote this in brackets and put maybe, but I put Billy Starks because maybe she beats Athena this year for the Ring of Honor Women's World title, potentially. So those are the women that I have written down for AEW ones to watch.
I feel like Bar Anna Jay and like Penelope Ford, I feel like you've just said the entire women's roster there. I get nowhere to go for now. Megan Bain's the obvious one, I think. I think
Yeah.
she's got a big 2036 ahead of her. And I want her to. She's absolutely fantastic. Someone you mentioned at the end there was kind of two people, I suppose. Was I also put kind of, well, not put, but just had a thought about potentially Billy Starks mainly as well because does Athena finally do stuff with AEW rather than the Ring of Honor? I think she's absolutely incredible. Mercedes Moné, as you said, if she wants to take on this darker character, I am all for it. Um, there's a lot. I said obviously Willow Nightingale was already off to a great start alongside Harley Cameron. I think it'd be a big Marina Shafir. I think one could maybe chuck it there.
Yes.
She could have a
Yeah.
really good year. I mean, both sets of women's division. Now, I'll say I feel like WWE is like slightly stronger, but both sets of women's divisions are incredible at the minute. So many talented women over there. So yeah, big year for them all.
right. Bearing in mind, I don't know an awful lot about AEW, and you guys have just literally said every woman who wrestles for AEW. I had Marina Shafir. I think big year for her. Because also if we're expecting that implosion in the Death Riders, then I think she's gonna have to swim without them. Alex Windsor, I
Mm.
actually really like her. Yeah, that's all I've really got to say. And Willow, I think out of the two of them, if they do go their separate ways, I think Willow probably has the better chance. And she could be booked as a monster. She's not, but if you've got that sort of dual personality of this cute, cuddly, lovely Willow who will just fuck you up, perfect. Sorry, second F bomb. But yeah, thanks for really leaving me last. I think I should have gone first on that one. Because I don't know.
Although to be fair, neither of us mentioned Willow for some reason. So yeah, shout out
No,
to
you
as well.
Rue did.
I
Rue
did.
Oh,
mentioned
you
Willow.
did.
I got Alex Windsor in there though.
You
Yeah,
did get Alex
because she's
Windsor, no, you
English.
You
did.
did.
Oh, should I say Isla Dawn then? Should I say that?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Um, in terms of men ones to watch, the first one I put down and I put maybe next to his name as well is maybe Champa potentially. Showing up in
Mm.
AEW. Now, I would be perplexed if he did show up in AEW. And I think he would be better suited if this is a wrestling departure, like if he's not happy with the wrestling aspect of things, he goes to TNA. However, if it's something deeper that he wants to leave, like, how Mick Foley left, or, he's just not a fan of how the company operates, potentially AEW, but like, he's not going to be a major player in AEW if he goes over there. He's not going to be a world title potential or whatever, which is sad because I want Ciampa to win a world title somewhere. Because there was a point in time where I was like, man, Ciampa is so good. He can be at the top of the mountain. And they just, obviously injuries and stuff played a part in it and whatnot. But man, like he could have been so, so good. And like, I think if he wants that wrestling push, TNA is probably the spot for him. Obviously, I know the WWE TNA partnership makes that a little bit awkward, but there's guys who are just strictly TNA guys over there and haven't bounced over to WWE, so he could probably be one of those guys. Blake Christian, I think, could have a big year this year. He's fantastic. Um, I think this is the year. This is like an obvious one, but I think this is the year Will Ospreay wins the AEW World Title at All In this year. Andrade, we saw him appear last night on Dynamite, and he's probably going to be doing some things. So I put him on this list. Um, Kevin Knight, like I for tag teams, I have Jet Speed because I think they'll probably win the tag titles this year at some point. But Kevin Knight, I think, proved that he can go alone in the Continental Classic, and I think at like the end of this year, we're gonna have Kevin Knight turn on Speedball Mike Bailey, and he's gonna go on his own heel singles run. Um, Wheeler Yuta, because I think he needs to show that he can be more than just a lackey. He's very good at that, but I think we need to see if he has another gear in him. Um, Another Death Rider that's going to be signing with AEW very soon is Gabe Kidd. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of him on AEW TV. Pac as well. I think he can have a pretty big year. I don't think he's going to win the world title or anything like that, but I think he'll have a pretty solid year. And somebody that I think should be a world champion is Powerhouse Hobbs, because he is just a fantastic wrestler. But I know it's a very long list, but those are my list of people for ones to watch.
I wouldn't argue with him, especially Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm glad you said him at the end. I'm very high on him. Also, man, some of the obvious ones you've got. I mean, Fletcher's got to be chucked in there as well. I'm totally with you. We've spoken about it in the past. I think Will Ospreay as well as winning that AEW World Championship this year at Wembley. Um, I'm behind him. Other ones, you know what? I love that Ciampa show, and maybe this is a bit off topic, but like, I totally agree with Ciampa goes to AEW. I see him following in the footsteps of like a Roderick Strong or a Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I see him sitting. Which is very unfortunate because it's funny. There was back in the day before I entirely lost all trust in Vince. Not that it had happened beforehand, but still, there was two guys I was like, they can't mess up, and it was Gargano and Ciampa because I mean, look at like the NXT was built around them pretty much at one point. And I was like, you can't mess them up, and to see what's happened to them is very very sad to see. But yeah, I said I don't see Ciampa doing much in AEW, which kind of sucks if he comes over. But yeah, Takeshita I want to chuck in there. I mean, obviously I can't not chuck in Mascara Dorado because he's my guy. Ricochet I think is a good one to chuck in. I think he's had a fantastic year. Depending on how this national championship goes, he could potentially go further up the card. There's a lot. Like the obvious ones. I said potentially we talked about earlier. If we get a babyface Moxley, I think it could be go really really well. Exciting time. AEW's been on had such a good 2025, so I just kind of hope they keep riding that into 2026.
Once again, thanks, guys. You've named every male wrestler on the roster. Much appreciated. So I don't know how everybody fits in with everyone, so I'm just going to say the people I like and the people I'd like to see do more. Kevin Knight is one of them. I think he's brilliant. I really want to see Speedball Mike Bailey wear boots. I can't get on with wrestlers who don't wear boots. I
He
just
never
cannot.
has, and he never
I
will.
No.
know, but I just can't take you seriously if you're not wearing boots. Because just stamp on his feet constantly. Stamp on his feet. He'll do nothing when he's got no toes left. Blake Christian, I really, really, really like Blake Christian. They seem to not quite know what to do with him. I don't know if he's now finding his character a little bit, but he's got the shittiest face. It's just a face that you want to punch, and he looks at you like you're nothing. And I just love that about him. And he's really talented as well, like incredibly talented guy. Um, Daniel Garcia is a weird one for me. I had really high hopes for him when he went with the Death Riders, but I don't know if he's just been a little bit lost in the crowd over there. He hasn't quite excelled as I thought he would, but hopefully he will if the whole thing busts open. And Hook is the other one. I really like Hook. I think he's got talent. He's got a great look as well. I've obviously he was injured for a lot of the time. I've been watching AEW, but from what I've seen of him, I really like Hook. So that's my uneducated opinion, seeing as you guys all said everything else. I could go like, oh, Swerve Strickland's going to be amazing and Carl Fletcher's going to be amazing, but I'm trying to show some kind of knowledge.
The problem I have with Hook is he's too bland. I don't think he has anything going for him. He's not good on the mic. I think he was better when he wasn't speaking, to be honest. Because it was just, he came out and wrestled and like he put on a solid performance, like, last night on Dynamite, but when you're surrounded by Hangman and Swerve and Powerhouse Hobbs, it's kind of difficult to put on a bad performance as well. But, he held his own in that match. But I feel like Hook just needs a lot of work before I can actually get behind him. Because I'm not a fan of it. I don't like his theme song. Nothing about Hook I can get behind. Um,
Well, if we're going on theme songs, then Kit Wilson's going to be world champion before the year's out.
oh man. In terms of tag teams, I've only written down three. I've gone with Jet Speed, who I mentioned I think are going to be tag champs this year. The Young Bucks, who also could be either tag or trios champs with Kenny Omega this year. But Kenny's also going down the solo route, going for the title. I don't know or think that he'll win the title. But there's that. And a tag team that seems like they're going to continue being a tag team is Hangman and Swerve. I think that they're going to have a tag team run, potentially a tag team title run this year, which is crazy because, if for anybody that's been watching since, the Hangman and Swerve rivalry, this would, leave you perplexed. But, yeah, Hangman and Swerve, I like what they've been doing as a tag team. I've been really enjoying it. And I think if you continue that, I'm completely fine with it.
It was a hell of a finisher they did last night on on Hobbs.
Oh,
It was
the dead eye
brutal.
swerve stomp, yeah,
It looked
ridiculous.
it looked ridiculous. Literally all of them I totally agree. I said I think they're all amazing. To Jet Speed, the Young Bucks, Hangman Swerve have a great year. One that I would have loved to have had a great year, but unfortunately, it looks like one half of them is injured again, and it would have been Jurassic Express. I would have loved for them to have a big year, but just man, poor Luchasaurus just cannot catch a break. Which is understandable considering some of the stuff he's obviously that I had to deal with. But yeah, I would have liked them. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling off the top of my head, but they're all the ones that I want to see do well when it comes to it because they're all fantastic, especially the Young Bucks. They've had I say I was like I've got a weird relationship with the Young Bucks. I'll never deny that the fact that they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time, but they're just some they were just never my favorites. But this year they've really grown on me. Actually, I've been very big fan of their character work and what they've done. So I'm excited to see what they do in 2026.
Yeah, tag teams in AEW. Edge and Christian.
Oh
They're going to
God.
win everything.
Cope.
Sorry, Copeland and Christian.
Cool.
Um, they're going to win. My favorite is Jet Speed. I think they're brilliant. Again, put some goddamn boots on, but yeah, no, I like them, so I'll have them win all the gold, please. That's my knowledge on that.
And that is going to do it for our predictions and ones to watch for 2026 between I lied. We said we were going to do indies. We said we were going to do
Yes.
indies at the end of this. So let's pick out off the top of our head. If you want, I can go first. So it gives you
Sure.
guys time to think, and I can be the one to, you know, pull out wrestlers out of my ass. Um, so a couple people off the top of my head to keep an eye on the Ontario independent scene. So if you're in the Ontario area, these are guys that I personally think are going to make waves. Firstly, Matty Z, fantastic wrestler. We spoke about Speedball Mike Bailey. He reminds me a lot like Speedball because the way he moves, he has that martial arts background. Fantastic wrestler. Jackson Roy is a fantastic wrestler as well. Man, Jackson Roy is going to be one of the best in-ring wrestlers in this entire country at one point. And I don't care if that's a hot take. Um, I don't care if people think I'm biased because I know him personally and he's a very good friend to me and was a very good friend when I was actively wrestling. He is just so damn good in the ring. So Jackson Roy, Matty C, people to keep your eye on. Um, I want to give some love to the women's divisions as well. So um, I'll throw in Shiloh. Shiloh is a phenomenal one. She reminds me a lot of JC Jane, and I think she has a lot of potential in wrestling in general. I think she could very well be signed. She gives me if like Canada was on a more global stage, I think she could very easily be signed by like an NXT. So those are my three.
Good shouts, good shouts. So obviously all of mine are based up here in Scotland. Some just from general wrestlers I've seen, some from ICW. First one I want to give a shout out to is Sam Taylor. Not just because he follows me on TikTok. Hello, Sam. No, it's I first seen Sam last May at PBW up here in Scotland. And from what I've gone on to learn about Sam, he's very young. He's only, I think, 18 years old, and I think he's only been wrestling for a year. And he was moving like Buddy Javon Evans in that ring. He was so good. He had a match, I believe it was against Hugo Harris. There's another shout out by the way to Hugo Harris. He's so good. Everything I've seen of him, his style is very good. That's what I mean by him only been wrestling for a year, but he's so fluid. And just from the very brief stint I've seen of him, he was easily had the match of the night that night and was the standout for me in the ring. So shout out to Sam. Next one, they said want to give something to the women's division. The new ICW Women's Champion Angel Hayes. She has been a stalwart of the just Scottish and UK independence, but even going across the globe. She is absolutely fantastic. Kind of reminds me of a young version of Kaylee Ray or also Alba Fire now in WWE. She's really good, especially being partnered up with the Wee Man currently in ICW. Sky's the limit for Angel Hayes, so shout out to her. Next up, I have Dylan Form, former ICW Zero G champion. He looked amazing in the ICW Zero G Scramble at Fear and Loathing last year. Dylan is someone I have a personal connection to. I've actually known him since before he was a wrestler, so slightly cheating here. But it's really cool to see what he's done and all the stuff in ICW, going on for Manifesto. He looks like an old school wrestler in a way, like someone from like the Attitude Era. The long, shady hair, the really grizzled look and all that. He is very good in the ring as well, and has great character work. And finally, I want to give a shout out to quite a young lad called Caden Cross. The reason I'm giving Caden a shout out is because he deserves it because his story is absolutely incredible. So I've mentioned to the two of you guys before about a wrestler up here called Ravy Davy, who used to be in ICW. He left to go set up his own wrestling school here in Scotland, not only to train the next generation of wrestlers, but also to just try and get kids off the street and give them something to do and try and put their focus and passion into. And that is what he's done. He's set up. He's one of the few wrestling schools that does classes for kids. It's directly designed for kids, and we're talking as young as well. Some of them look like they go to about 6 or 7. It's just before anyone starts panicking, it's just running in, doing entrances and pretending to be John Cena. That's kind of the theme of it. But Caden, I first learned about when he was a young lad that came in. He must have only been about 14, 15 maybe when he came in. Um, he was, I think I'm trying to think the best way to put it. He was of a larger set guy who, didn't have many friends, was a bit shy, a bit anxious. And Davey really took him under his wing, sort of became a mentor to him. And just to see Caden's journey and how much he's came out of his shell, he's lost a lot of weight as well. Being in the ring and training, giving him something to do and put his mind to it, and to the point he is actually very, very good in that ring now. He's the current Glasgow School of Wrestling champion. Shout out to Caden. He's just his story has been incredible. Davey has also won awards, the sort of the Glasgow City Council awards for his like working charitable stuff. So both Davey and Caden, he all want to give a shout out to because what they've done is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I said I think Caden's only about 17, maybe 18 now. Really, really young lad. It's kind of just great to see his journey and what he's done.
So I got a bit of a problem. I know a lot of wrestlers, so whoever I mention, everybody else is going to get pissed off at me for not mentioning them. So I'm going to try and do like three layers of. So obviously you got the experienced guys. So I'm going to go with a guy called Rogan. They're a very popular tag team called Reese and Rogan, who are part of a group called Yorkshire Tough, along with a very talented guy called HMD as well. HMD, I don't know if you've seen the video, is the guy who dumped my ass out of the ring
Yes.
after receiving the world's greatest ever spear, and he still owes me a shirt because he ripped mine off me, little dick. But yeah, so Rogan, so he's been with Reese and Rogan as a tag team for a long time, but he's actually the FFW heavyweight champion, and I don't want to give too much away, but at the moment he's feuding with his tag team partner. So come 2026, he's probably going to be going on his own like full time now, and he's one of the most intense guys I've seen in the ring. Like he's intense. Even when you talk to him out of the ring, he's intense. Lovely guy, but intense. Then if you go in, so he's more of the experienced type. If you're going in like the 20s, mid 20s, there's a lot of guys. There's a guy called George Hunter who has only been training. I've met him and spoke to him. He's only been training since last April, and he is phenomenal. Like ridiculous. Like he's on everybody's radar. He's so good. He's only early 20s. He rocks the mullet and the moustache and all that lot. But his athleticism and his smoothness in the ring is frightening. He has a lot of matches with a guy called Evan Bishop as well. Evan Bishop is another one. Very, very, very good young wrestler. Um, you've got other guys like Butcher as well. Jack Maxwell is another one. So many people I can mention. And then if you go to the really younger guys, there's like three standouts. I know them, so I could sound biased, but I'm not because I know how good they are because I know them. There's AJ Luva who fights out of Fight Factory Wrestling. And he's dad is the guy who runs Fight Factory Wrestling. So he's been in the sport his entire life, and you can tell. You can literally tell by the way he wrestles. He's been in the sport. Harry Johnson's another one in around the same age. Very, very good guy. He's fought Rogan. Like, so he went up a level and he fought Rogan, and he held his own so easily. And then there's another guy called Carter. This this is Carter. No, that's really bad. I can't blame him. He actually didn't do anything wrong. But he is, I've never seen anybody so smooth in a ring. He's so quiet, but he's so smooth. Like he gets annoyed if he does a roll and makes a noise. It's fantastic to see. The guy is so smooth. And he used to wrestle in a mask. He's taken a mask off this year, and his character work is now immense. Like so good. So women wise, there's a young girl called Maliga. Again, she's on like the really, really young spectrum. So I think she's 17 or 18 now. She's really good, just finding her character. So once she gets that character, she's just turned heel against her uncle, which is amazing. And all of a sudden, she should pull out this horrendous side of her, which I love. Then you've got two big ones in the UK Indies, women wise. You've got Rio.
Hmm. Current ICW world champion, by the way.
Yeah. She's fantastic. I've seen her a few times. She's so good. There's another one called Rain Leverkusen. She's got like
Hmm.
this kind of 90s rock chick
Yep.
Gimmick, which I love. She apparently did really, really well at the tryouts for the SummerSlam tryouts this year.
Mhm.
I think she got the award for like the best tryout, so I'm interested to see where that takes her. And another one called Alexis Falcon as well. She's really, really good. She's again in that echelon of those guys. So yeah, I'm gonna get so much shit for not mentioning people, but sorry, we'll do another one. We'll do one where we just talk about the indies, and then we
Sure,
can
let's
go
do it.
through lots of people.
I'm so down.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
me too. Oh man, we could talk for hours on the indies, and why not? We owe the indies.
But that is going to do it for our predictions and our ones to watch for 2026 between WWE, AEW, and the independent scene in Scotland, in the UK, in Ontario, Canada. Um, all that stuff covered. So if you guys enjoyed it, let us know in the comments. Let us know if we
I
missed
forgot to
out on
mention
anyone.
one tag team. Damn it!
Who is that?
It's Morgan and Gunnison. I know what their name's going to be, but they haven't yet. But honestly, they are two massive dudes tied up. And they've been singles and they've been okay singles, but now they're together. Morgan and Gunnison, honestly, will run riot over the UK. And they might beat me up if I don't say that. So
Awesome. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, whether you're listening on YouTube or whether you're listening on Spotify. There's a chance I get too lazy and it doesn't end up getting on Spotify. So if that's the case, I apologize. But obviously, if you are watching this, it is on YouTube and more than likely Spotify. I'll see. It'll probably be up on Spotify at some point in time. But I have like stuff to do after we wrap up this podcast as well. So we're gonna see where it takes us and all that good stuff. But make sure you guys are checking out all the links down below in the description, the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok page where I post a variety of different content, and of course the Kayfabe Central website where all my coverage posts are, articles, written predictions, all that good stuff is up on the Kayfabe Central website. So make sure you guys are checking that stuff out. I'll let Rue and Stu promote their stuff first. Rue, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on wrestling on TikTok and YouTube. I will be live tomorrow night for SmackDown, so if you fancy coming along and doing a watch along with that, you can find me on TikTok.
as me, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And yeah, that's it. I don't know when I'm going to be on live. When I get the chance.
Yeah, the watch alongs, I leave those to Rue and Stu because I don't have the patience for it anymore. I apologize, Phoebe, if you're watching this. Phoebe's been on my ass all 2025 to go live for the watch alongs, but I can't do it. I leave that to Rue. Rue has the patience for it. I don't. But I
I
am.
Who's the one who can stay up?
I
Wow,
just
I love it.
I just make fun of everyone to be truly honest when they come in.
However, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I am live on YouTube for the post show review. Mondays and Fridays is both YouTube and TikTok. I don't do Wednesdays because Wednesday streams are dead. So, but Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can find me live on a post show on YouTube on the Kayfabe Central YouTube channel. So make sure you guys have your notifications on so you're notified of all that stuff. And obviously, post shows for all the PLEs and pay per views that are upcoming, like the Royal Rumble, the Saturday night's main event. That actually there will not be a post show for the Saturday night's main event this coming one because I will be there. So um, uh, there will not be a post show, but they'll probably find something on my social media or something like that. But so yeah, keep track with all that good stuff. I will be back on what's today? Today's Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow for the Friday Night SmackDown post show review. So until then, I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.